Hi, thanks for checking in with me. I feel like we haven't done this in a long time. So, how are you? It seemed like you were a little depressed lately. Yeah, I noticed. I did notice. You you sometimes go dark when you get like this. You're uncomfortable talking to people on a daily basis. You make a bunch of excuses for why you can't get anything done, but it's mostly just that you're exhausted and you feel sick, but you know you're not. I know it can be really hard to get out of bed. I understand. And I've seen it in you before. Sometimes you're up and ready to go, but you're not always. And I notice, even if you don't. How have you been with other stuff like self-care and stuff? Has that gone poorly, or are you holding okay? Or yeah. Yeah, it's difficult, especially when you're in any kind of transition period. It's hard to tell yourself to shower. I get it. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and there aren't a lot of places to go either. So you try to get out and then you're like, where do I go? I know it seems really hopeless. Really hopeless sometimes. But you bounce back, right? Like your mood will get better. This isn't going to be like this forever. And then when you have that morning, when you have that day when the clouds have shifted a little bit, I want you to grab it. Really grab at it. And do something. Not work, not just work, even if you have to work. Just try to put that away for a minute. And if you know you're in the middle of a space where things are just a little bit better than they were yesterday, please just grab onto it. And it's okay if it slips out of your hands again. Just hold on to it for that moment, for that day that you have it. And try to take care of yourself. Do something that you need for you to be better. Maybe that's just taking a shower. And that's good. That's good. You can do that. Maybe it's cleaning up your cuticles or sloughing all that crap off your feet. Maybe it's that. Or maybe it's making coffee or making a really perfect cup of chai or catching up with your favorite show that you haven't seen in a long time. Because even though it's your favorite, every time you put it on, you just fall asleep. Because you're just so tired of everything. You're allowed to do that on one of the good days. You're not being lazy. You're not being lazy if you just sit down for a little while. Everyone's allowed to sit down. Everyone's allowed to rest for themselves, just for a little while. Even if you know that there's going to be things waiting for you. That's true of everyone. I know you're waiting for that time, for that moment when everything is finished, when everything is done, and then you feel like you can relax. I'm sorry, I don't know if this will sound like bad news, but that won't happen. it's just not the way life is. And I'm not talking about work or, your boss or any of that. I don't mean that. I mean, the sun is always going to come up and it's always going to go down. And nothing is permanent. Everything is changing all the time. So even if you think you can clear your inbox and get everything done and settled and finally at peace, it'll just change tomorrow. And not because you're a bad person and not because you did it wrong. It'll change because that's the way things are. Even if you cleaned the whole house perfectly, top to bottom, dust will settle. Even if you do nothing. And it will have to be cleaned again. And that's okay. It proves everything is alive. You and I are alive. Everything around you is alive. And then, inevitably, everything will grow and change and shift. That's the nature of being here. So, now that you know you can't get everything permanently perfect, try to settle into the idea that you can only do what you can do with each day. And you don't have to keep pushing yourself until it's all done, because it will never be done. You just have to do what you can do every day. Nothing more, nothing less. So if you fall back into that space where you feel like you just cannot move forward, rest on the idea that nothing needs to be finished or completed permanently. Everything is always changing, both you and everything around you. Things seem hopeless sometimes, I know, I understand. And it feels like everything is the same. It's staying the same every day. That feels hopeless. But change is inevitable. It is. Especially when you grab onto those good days. Decide what you want to do for yourself. Decide what you need to focus on to create the reality you want. And then forgive yourself when you can't fit in everything that you want to do, because that just is not the nature of our existence. You do not need to punish yourself for not doing it all. No one is meant to do it all. No one. Not even the people you think are the best at everything. Even they aren't meant to do it all. Those people that you're envisioning, who seem to have won, who seem to have made it, they can't do it all. But what they did do was focus on a few things to put their energy and their talent and their drive into. Those that focus on their best talents, their best gifts, the thing that they have to contribute to the world, That's where you really see drive and focus turn into growth. When you can get very specific about your abilities, your wants, your needs, and focus your energy into what matters instead of preoccupying yourself with everything that's wrong and how it happened. We don't need to fully understand our past in order to grow from it. It is healthy to reevaluate your path and how you ended up where you are. But that is different from preoccupation and obsession. Try to look ahead. It'll be better. It will always get better. And inevitably, it may get worse again too. But we will be smarter and have more skills to deal with those obstacles when they come back. Be present and be aware and keep learning. That's how you can best move forward. I promise. I promise you.